Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request, this time from PhilSunderland. Actually, one of two. Thank you for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It'll be for pretty much any type of video. I'll do my best to get out as soon as I can. But this is for two episodes of Justice League Season 2, episodes 19 and 20, called The Hereafter. The first part dealing with this group of villains getting together, the Justice League fighting them, and ultimately ending with Superman seemingly dead. And there's a funeral, and what would the world be like without Superman? And in the second part, you find out Superman didn't die. He was shot and thrust into the future, where mankind has been decimated. And I like this two-part episode. Number one, I gotta get this out there. The Justice League cartoon of that era has one of the most epic openings for a cartoon. You know, the characters, you don't see them, they're walking towards the camera in slow motion. All that was needed was like a fucking explosion behind them, walking away in slow motion from explosions. But just them like walking out, and as they get closer, you see more of their silhouette, and they see more of them. That one opening is more epic than anything in either cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. I'm not even exaggerating. That 3-hour, 4-hour marathon of BS is cut did not have anything as epic as that opening bit from Justice League cartoon. And then the voice acting, you got Kevin Conroy back as Batman. I think the first season at first had Tim Daly as Superman, but then that was around the time he went on to do that very short-lived The Fugitive reboot. Because The Fugitive was a TV show back in the day. Then you had the great movie with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. Then they tried to reboot it, and it lasted like, I don't know, one season maybe or so. Like, it didn't last long. So I think it was George Newborn, forget his name because I'm bad with names. He played Superman. And you know, the Justice League, you got The Flash, you got Wonder Woman, you got Martian Manhunter, you got Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and The Flash. That's not Ezra Miller, so he wasn't a creepazoid. Nice utilization of its characters, of its heroes. You have a variety of villains you could also pick out. And pretty decent animation, nicely worked voice acting. And with this two-parter, it starts with this group of villains in robes like a cult. And it's people like Metallo, Toyman, Livewire, Weather Wizard. To be honest, a lot of them I had not heard of before. I'm not as much as a connoisseur of the comics as maybe I should be. And I know there's one or two more, and one of them is actually voiced by Michael Dorn, who played Worf in Star Trek Next Generation. By the way, they all take knives and they stab a table, and the table has a Superman logo. Well, okay, there's a nice little intense bit for a cartoon, and then you have the, again, great opening credit scene. At first, the villains come in and they're attacking, and the Justice League are kicking ass. Wonder Woman's blocking lightning, Green Lantern is saving folks, Batman punches the motherfucker wizard. And this Michael Dorn's character, and he's throwing him around. There's no way you could beat me, puny Batman. Batman's like, you want to bet, motherfucker? Throwing his ass around. Martian Manhunter Which, anytime I think of that character now, I always think of that complete idiot, David Goyer. And I call him an idiot because I remember this is a guy that was helping write Batman v Superman and other stuff with Zack Snyder, Man of Steel. I remember there was a convention or Q&A. Well, first he was asked about the She-Hulk, and he said the She-Hulk was only made so Hulk could get laid. I'm like, you didn't get the memo that they're related, and maybe you think you're the kissing cousins sort of way. And then Martian Manhunter. Who here's heard of him? Raise your hand. Now, who here has ever been laid? I don't know, maybe you should have asked, who here has had an STD? So your own hand can raise up for your own superiority, David Goyer. I'm sorry, Mr. Director of Blade 3, Trinity. Such a great director you are. Have you ever directed a film worth a shit? Just a question, David Goyer. Have you ever directed a film worth an iota of fucks? The Invisible? No. The Unborn? No. Blade Trinity? No. So, David Goyer, maybe you should... Shh. I know you helped write Blade 2, which were great, but those directors and Wesley Snipes helped you on those as well. Well, you did help write Death Warrant and Van Damme, and honestly, that's one of your best movies, to be honest, Mr. Goyer. Writer of Demonic Toys. Anyway, anything I think of Martian Manhunter, I always think of that idiot. But during the battle, it's nice that all the heroes have their moments to shine. And Superman comes in. The Toyman has a device, shoots at Superman. Actually, no, he's shooting at Wonder Woman and Batman. Wonder Woman, they're hurt. And part of me wondered why Superman, I mean, he's faster than the speeding bullet. Would it not have been easier for him to just swoop and get Batman and Wonder Woman out of the way? Because a laser's coming, and his first instinct is to rush the laser, and I'm thinking, what his first instinct is to rush and grab and get them out of the way, like he's done plenty of times before? So I thought that was a bit of, I don't know if I want to say plot convenience, but I'm like, I mean, if he has enough time to get in the front of it, you think he would have enough time to just grab him, get out of the way, go to the side of it, but I guess they had to find a way for... Even Superman says there's no way you don't hit me with that, so I guess they had to find a way. He just we think he gets vaporized. I do like the bit of serious there. If I learn how to talk. The seriousness of the situation where Wonder Woman grabs Toyman and he's like, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna punch a hole through your head. And the Flash stops her. Is that what you want? No, I'm just doing what I think Superman would want. And then Wonder Woman lets him go. And that's how you handle it well, Zack Snyder. Not Wonder Woman blowing up people and throwing people where their fucking back of their heads explode on the back of the fucking wall. And all this other shit. And then go up to a little girl goes, I can't wait to be you one day. Why? So you could slaughter men too? But, I mean, they were bad guys. But still, it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. Ready to blow this guy away. And then this 10-year-old girl, I can't wait to be you. I guess that'd be like me watching the Punisher work. I can't wait to be you, Punisher man. Whatever. Fucking Zack Snyder. But anyway, I did like that bit in this. Gonna put your hole through your head, and the Flash stops her. Batman doesn't think he's dead, but the others do. And it's nice to see the importance of this world, showing what would... the dire circumstances of how the world will be affected without Superman. The emotion on the Justice League's faces and the reactions, the world reacts, Lois Lane is trying, even Lex Luthor comes in to comfort Lois, and I thought, okay, what else is going to happen? But nothing else does happen, which I thought was actually surprising. I just to show even more the importance of this situation. You have like choir music. It's a lot of emotion for, quote, a kid's show. I think this was refreshing, not just for Batman the Animated Series, but for this show, is that it's still a cartoon, it's still, quote, a kid's show, but it doesn't treat them like idiots, morons, or ditzes. It still has a certain seriousness to respect its audience, even if it's children, and go, you know what, they can understand a thing or two, and we don't just treat them like a bunch of, like I said, like a bunch of idiots. I appreciate that. And the Justice League is even telling stories about Superman and laughing and stuff of that nature. They give a toast, and then they don't try to figure out what to do. Now, in the comics, of course, the death of Superman, that was with Doomsday. But, I mean, that character, I'm sure, would be deemed too violent to tell that story. Because Doomsday was just crushing birds with his hand and fucking beating the shit out of people to a bloody, bloody pulp. Now, of course, they made movies. In fact, they made 2 anime movies, The Death of Superman. I didn't mind the later one. I still don't think they've gotten it 100%, I will say. But the second attempt I did like more than the first attempt, animated movie-wise. And I'm not counting the fucking Batman v Superman, Dawn of Butt Sex, Zod's Day. I'm not counting that bullshit. This is bullshit. I do like, you got Lobo, the bounty hunter. I do know of the Lobo character. He's a anti-hero or anti-villain, however you want to put it. And I think he's voiced by, was it Brad Garrett? If not, it sounded just like him. I swear I recognize the voice. And Brad Garrett from Raymond's brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. He's the guy, the coach that gets messed with by Vin Diesel in the pacifier, turns his arm to a chicken wing. If it's not him, I apologize, but I swear it sounds like Brad Garrett. But anyway, Lobo is a fun character. He comes in and says, yeah, I could do this. I could be Superman. You guys need it. And he doesn't care what he says. Doesn't care how he says it. He's definitely PC for the show, but he's not like he's a non-PC type of character. And he gets into a fight with the Justice League. We don't want you here. Oh, come on. I'll prove myself. And they get a bit of a fight. There's criminals attacking Metropolis. The Justice League go in to take care of business, which was nice to see. So I liked the emotion. I liked the bit of drama. I liked that it didn't, again, for a lot of points, did not take the audience to be an idiot, and was able to understand that kids of this nature who were watching the show, it wasn't, I keep saying kids show, but maybe they knew that there were also older people watching this as well, and they take that into consideration, so they have a little bit more seriousness to it. Like I said, the Lobo character was fun to be showcasing this. I don't know if this was the first time he was on this show, but it was a nice addition. Batman has a nice moment where he has doubts if maybe he's wrong, maybe Superman is dead, so he goes to his memorial, and he has some nice words. You know, you show me that justice doesn't always have to come from darkness. It's not too corny, it's not too cringy, but it's enough to show that, he did care. So that was a nice moment. And then you get a decent amount of action, like the first bit, and then the ending bit where they're stopping the criminals. Lobo helps them. He's fighting the Michael Dorn villain. I forget his name. And Lobo keeps calling the guy wuss and I'm not dead yet. Well, my watch is 10 seconds fast. And people don't realize, like, there was a time where cartoons would not even mention death, dead, all those kind of words, because it'd be too triggered, or whatever the fuck word they would use back in the day, let alone today. But that's what I mean. It's a show that you can watch even as an adult and still enjoy and not roll your eyes and, oh god, this is a corny ass shit. Quite the contrary. And when you get to episode 2, where you find out Superman, this is more Superman's bit. He's in the future. In fact, 30,000 years in the future. The sun is more red instead of yellow, so he doesn't have his powers. He can't fly. And he's in this wasteland, and it's Superman having to survive. Using his wits, using his smarts, using his whatever he can get his hands on. Now, I find it funny that he finds a car and he's able to find gasoline and just rev the car up. I would think after 30,000 years the car would be, I don't know, rusted up as a piece of shit. So I don't know how the fuck there'd be any cars, let alone that. Because he does find a guy, Vandal Savage, who's an immortal, and he mentions how very quickly after Superman disappeared, he had his plan and the whole world was fucked. So it's been like 30,000 years and it's still like, this car still works. This gasoline still works, but I guess it's a cartoon. But I did find that kind of funny. It's obviously been weeks go by because Superman has a beard now. So it's interesting to see Superman with a beard. He makes a sword, like he's Conan the Barbarian. He finds food. There's these weird looking dogs he's got to fight and use a sword against. And there's even a bit where him and the pack, the leader of these pack of wild, crazy looking dogs, ready to fight, and it cuts away and you see that he's wearing the fur, so you get the idea that he killed this motherfucker. He's wearing the fur and he's got the other dogs as his bitches to go become his sled dogs. I mean, this is a badass Superman. This Superman rocks. This Superman's a badass motherfucker. And it was nice to see that Superman is still very capable even without his powers. And it's a way to make Superman more vulnerable, but still not a pansy. And again, nice. It gives a different take on Superman without being cringeworthy, and also having to make somewhat sense. Again, because of the red sun. He can't fly, all that stuff. So ultimately he does get to a point, finds this guy, which I didn't know who it was at first. So they made this reveal, and I'm like, who's that? And I had to look it up. There's Vandal Savage, this immortal who's been a villain throughout the years in comics. I didn't know who that was. So I was a bit confused. But by this point, he's less of a villain, and he's more pretty much like, what I did was stupid, and I fucked up, and try to find a way to figure this out. Although he's still a bit of an asshole. It's like, oh yeah, your buddy Green Lantern, I killed him here. Oh, actually, no. Maybe I killed him over there. And you tell Superman there are times he wants to kill him. There's even a bit where he's ready to bash his fucking brains in, but he's Superman, so he doesn't. There's even bits where they battle these giant bugs. Pretty much, he's understanding what's going on, how this world came about, and by Superman doing Superman type of moral right choices, in a way he's able to change Vandal Savage's perception. And maybe just that point of, well, you know, maybe Superman's morality and code, maybe it can change a villain or two. That maybe somehow, some way, these people can get through. But it doesn't delve too much into that. But it's a hint of it is there, which is nice to see. Plus, I didn't get a decent amount of action. They get this part to this time machine Vandal Savage has built, but he couldn't go back because he's there at the same time and be the time cop, you know, paradox. Or in this case, a time cop with Van Damme, they just can't touch each other. While in this, they can't even be in the same timeline together. But Superman is thought to be dead, so he can go back. And ultimately does. Able to come back. I do like Wonder Woman's like, I like the beard. You don't keep it? And Superman's like, not a chance. But Superman does look good with a beard, I would say. He does look pretty good with a beard. Just like after he returned in the Return of Superman, he had the long hair. I thought that was kind of a cool look as well. Like I said, I like the long hair look. And again, I like the beard look. So, but again, it showed the importance of Superman and what the world would be if he was lost. It showed Superman that he could handle his own without his powers. Showed him to be still a badass. Let's say it had some nice emotion to it. Had importance for the characters. The characters were utilized well, whether it be in the action scenes in the first part of the episode or against Superman. Even the way it ends, where we're in the future and Vandal Savage, he's looking around and he's seeing that things are changing. He's like, thank you, my friend. And that's when I'm like, oh wow, even Superman, even with this guy, is able to make this guy change a bit and call Superman his friend. So it kind of shows the moral purity of Superman. And it's a nice little emotional ending because he fades away because he's no longer existing there while the world has been populated. Granted, that's kind of a spoiler warning, and I mean, not it is, but it isn't. It is where, well, the world's going to be okay because that means in the 30,000 years since, there's been no catastrophe. Otherwise, the people would not have been appearing, the sea would not have been fine, but ultimately, it's not a spoiler because that's what you hope to be. Thanks to the Justice League, among other people, so. It was a nice two-parter. I really did like it. It's a good two-parter to showcase the importance of Superman, and also to show people that Justice League is not just a dumb kids cartoon. Just like Batman the Animated Series is not just a dumb kids cartoon. And that you can add a little bit of depth and a little bit of emotion, but still have your humor with the Lobo character, still have your action pieces, superhero action fun. I mean, fuck, I got more out of this than the last couple Marvel films, like Ant-Man, Quantumania, or Doctor Strange 2. I got more out of this. But with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.